Yeah, hi people, Moino Ravenberg here again as always and as usual. Yeah, I'm going to do another astrology video, which is this one of course. Now, it's going to be on an actress by the name of Amanda Bynes, and this is a short, a YouTube short that you're seeing. I'm gonna play the short and then I'm going to explain exactly how things work astrologically, the way I've already done with several people in the past. So yeah, let's go. Before I begin, I want to say that I remember I really liked this actress back in the day, like in the early 2000s. That's when she really got up and running regarding her career and she became quite popular. And that was what she looked like at her prime or in her prime or at her best in 2005. And look at what she looks like now, unfortunately. So we're going to take a look at everything in detail, the who, the where, the what, the why, and the how. But let's just listen to the short first.
Massive Nickelodeon star in the 90s and early 2000s since the age of 10, Amanda Bynes faced a public downfall after retiring from acting in 2009. She began raising eyebrows in 2012 when she received a DUI upon crashing into a police cruiser. After being released, she was arrested several more times for DUIs, holding up traffic, and hit and runs before having her license suspended. In May of 2013, officers arrested Bynes yet again for reckless endangerment amid reports that she threw a bong out of her New York apartment window. That same year, she was sent to a psychiatric hospital after starting a fire in someone's driveway in California. In 2014, Amanda tweeted that her father sexually abused her as a child. She later claimed that this wasn't actually true, but a microchip implanted in her brain by her father forced her to say it. Soon afterwards, Bynes revealed that she'd been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and conservatorship had been granted to her parents. Morbid.
Yeah, and you heard it. So yeah, this is the constellation that she was born under. I already took a look at it prior to recording this video, so I can do things a lot quicker. Yeah, you saw the tragic downfall of her, what she looked like before and after, and oh boy, is it one hell of a downfall. So let's begin. Now, her first house is quite big or quite large, which stands for a lot of activity in her childhood, the likes of which you saw in the aforementioned or aforeviewed short. Of course, she's also not the oldest. I think right now she's like in her 30s or something, or late 20s at latest. In any case, something along those lines. She's not old in any case, so yeah, it's not a surprise that the first house is quite expansive. Now, Chiron doesn't really have anything meaningful to say. Chiron is opposed to Lilith, and Lilith is quite strong in the sense that it's in Libra's house, which stands for the fact that she secretly that she acts out as a child. Even she acted out, she had like minor fits and whatnot, but only quite superficially, or quite the opposite, that she was exceptionally quiet. And the reason for that, more the latter than the former, the reason for that is that she simply wanted someone to confide in. That's what Lilith in the aforementioned zodiac sign and house means. Uranus is going retrograde in Taurus in the first house, which stands, and it's opposed Juno, which stands for the fact that it stands for something I'm going to get to. I'm not going to say it just yet. Let's just leave it for the icing on the cake. Jupiter and Gemini going retrograde. It's in the second house, and the second house is small, just like the third house, ruled by Gemini as well. Both houses are ruled by Gemini. Opposed Mercury in Sagittarius, which stands for the fact that she is not good at dealing with money. She has a strong tendency to spend money on frivolous things, making frivolous purchases and related. Which obviously makes it so that she has no money, that she's broke. The Earth is in Cancer's house, which stands, and it's also again same thing as the second house. It's quite small. The fourth and the fifth house are ruled by Cancer, which stands for the fact that she simply wanted a loving childhood. I mean, a loving household with loving parents and whatnot, which was not the case for her. That's why the Earth is opposed. The Sun, obviously, as always, as well as Pallas. In Capricorn, conjunct midheaven, the sun specifically, and Capricorn is also, Capricorn rules over midheaven as well as the 11th house. And now here it comes. Mars is in Leo going retrograde, and Mars is opposed Pluto, the pot of fortune, and Ceres in Aquarius. Pluto is exceptionally strong. Other than being in Aquarius, it's also in Aquarius's house. But of course, the part of fortune is also quite powerful, being in Aquarius. Um, Now, what all of this means, Mars is heavily afflicted. It's going not only retrograde, but it's opposed the part of fortune as well as an exalted Pluto, and it's in the sixth house. Other than that, Mars is square the moon, and Mars is trine the ascendant. Yeah, and it just goes on. What all of this means is that Amanda Bynes was heavily the victim of sexual abuse. She was bluntly put, hypothetically speaking, pimped out for the purposes of advancing her career as an actress by someone in charge. You know what I mean? Let's just say a certain executive type from a certain um, movie industry by a famous name in Cali. All of you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say more. Um, so yeah, since I'm on this subject, let's cover her parents. Let's do the mother first. Oh boy. Amanda's mother, represented by the moon, was in Scorpio, and it's in Libra's house. Stands for the fact that Amanda's mother was a woman that, generally speaking, liked associating with people a lot, like having a lot of close friends, but for the purposes of financial financial attainment and or gain, um, as well as sexual misuse. Let me just put it that way. The moon is sextile the sun and midheaven, stands for the fact that her mother was also quite ambitious. Um, but it is square Pluto and square the part of fortune and Ceres, which stands for the same things I said regarding Mars. For why Mars is afflicted, you're seeing how all of these are connected. The mother was essentially the one that supported and, as far as I can tell, orchestrated the thing I mentioned earlier that Pluto stands for. Yeah, it's just parents of the year and all. Just wow. Saturn is in Pisces, and it's in Pisces' house, Amanda's father. So it wasn't bad enough that Saturn was in Pisces. It's also in Pisces' house, which makes it super detrimental. So Saturn is like at its weakest, essentially. And if that wasn't enough, Saturn was is a square Jupiter, square Mercury, and that's pretty much it. It's also trine Juno, which is in Scorpio in the seventh house as well. The two squares with Jupiter and Mercury stands for the fact that her father focused heavily on money, as in, and she essentially got the mentality in terms of mismanaging money from him, albeit indirectly, or in a manner of speaking, or semi-indirectly. And the fact that Saturn is so weak stands for the fact that he was someone that was severely mentally troubled. And the trine with Juno in Scorpio in the seventh house stands for what you heard in the short in terms of what she accused him of. She recanted, but let's just say that she's not wrong, to say the least. Again, parents of the year, people generally speaking would pity her. Um, Not saying I don't, but I have no real opinion on it. Shit happens. I more than anyone know that. So yeah. Anyways. Let me see. What else can I share with you guys? Oh yeah, the strong Aquarian influence is the reason that she is so successful. Venus in Aquarius stands for the fact that she likes being in the public eye in general as a person, and whatnot. But Venus is in Pisces' house, which stands for the fact that she is, generally speaking, a quiet and reserved person, personality-wise. He's passive. But the drawback with a personality like that is that these kind of people get taken advantage of in general, due to their quiet nature and the fact that they're quite gentle, they have a soft touch about them. Um, yeah, and yeah, the fact that thingy is so small and that Pallas is right next to the sun, conjunct the sun, the fact that the 10th house is so small stands for the fact that, again, she was naturally quite ambitious, but um, there was there were very few opportunities only for her to manifest that ambition, to actually realize her dreams, to put it that way. Um, and I already said what Pluto stands for. The reason that she became a moderately, at least, successful actress in her heyday, is because of strong industrial influences from those in charge, from one or more individuals in charge that wielded a considerable amount of influence in the movie industry. You know what I'm talking about. And let me see. Neptune is in Pisces, in Pisces' house at its absolute strongest, but the degree is somewhat, the degree is not somewhat, the degree is detrimental in the sense of the fact that she is really, really good. That's why Neptune is so strong at hiding her pain and things that trouble her. And yeah, that's how essentially all of this was unknown to the public until the shit hit the fan. So until she bluntly went off the rails mentally, to say the least. Because you might wonder to yourself, how did no one notice this, before her career got started? How did she like look so pretty and so wholesome and everything seemed picture perfect on the outside to the public? It's because of this. She is on a scale of 0 to 10, she is like a 9, 9.5, or at least an 8.9 out of 10 in terms of hiding, something that she wants hidden from people, in this case, the public. Um, Women in general are quite good at that. Something that I noticed even before I became an occultist and whatnot. I noticed that, and this is also general knowledge amongst men. Women in general are quite good, and they make a habit of obscuring what they do not want to be seen. Usually something negative. They want to make it come off as if life is perfect and whatnot. Typical female mentality. Not to be sexist or anything, I'm not. I'm just saying. Women are good at that. Men are obviously straightforward in that regard or aspect. But again, she is like a hypothetical world champion, as well as anyone else that has displacement, any woman that has displacement. And let me see, is that it? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, the most notable thing is Mars. Mars is just on a scale of 0 to 10. Mars is like a 9.7 in terms of being detrimental, being weak. Mars is heavily afflicted, just awful, like everything. And that's also what you saw in the charts. That's why she's like acting out through destructive behavior in the way of vandalism, or she did so, and and anything relating to that. All the things that she did is just pure Martian. They are pure Martian in nature. So yeah, fucked up, right? Definitely. Anyways, see you guys. Bye bye.